NHL draft, June 27th. That's not too far off now. So to talk more NHL draft with us, we're bringing in Utah Mammoth Insider for KSLSports.com, Cole Bagley. Cole, thanks for hopping on set once again.
Anytime. It's getting very exciting, 2 weeks away.
It really is getting exciting. And one of the guys we've been talking about these last couple of weeks, Porter Martone, the Utah Hockey Club. I'm still getting used to it. The Utah Mammoth, they certainly have taken notice of him, but Martone has also been taking notice of what Utah's been doing.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to talk with Martone this last week, and what him and other prospects are talking about is how promising this Mammoth roster is with young guys like Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, Josh Stone, and the amount of prospects like T.J. Gimla, Colbo Dwan. There's obviously something special being built here in Salt Lake City, and prospects are taking notice of it.
That is big time for Utah Mammoth and for these players that are looking for a new home in the NHL. Let's talk about some of these potential new players that'll be coming to Utah. Let's continue to talk about them, I should say. One of the guys that you mentioned to me earlier, Caleb Desnoyers, one of the things I think that is awesome about him from the Junior Hockey League. This is a guy that averaged similar stats to, you mentioned, Sid Crosby and Nathan MacKinnon at juniors.
Yeah, 30 points in 19 playoff games in the QMJHL, which is a mouthful, by the way. Yeah. Guys that most recently, had those types of stats were Sidney Crosby and Nathan MacKinnon. Mm-hmm. To score that many goals, to have that many assists, that's what people really like about him, and that's why his stock has kind of jumped up as of late, is because he steps up when it matters most. Those are the types of players that you want to have when you're getting to the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Stanley Cup finals. Guys like Sam Bennett, right? Mm-hmm. A guy that only has 50 points in the regular season, but then he's leading the playoffs in goals. So Desnoyers, very special talent. He's very creative, and that's, I think, what most scouts are paying attention to, is his ability to see the ice at an elite level, set up his teammates. He also scores at a really high rate. He doesn't take as many shots, I think, as a lot of coaches would like to see him, but he's scoring at about a 20+% rate, that's high in hockey. So a special talent who is able to turn it on when it matters most.
Well, you mentioned Sam Bennett. That's a guy that a lot of people have taken notice of this offseason for sure. When you got a comparison to him, I think that makes him a pretty exciting prospect. All right, let's move on to our next guy. We've been talking about guys in the OHL. There's another one, Jake O'Brien.
Yeah, Jake O'Brien, again, one of the top creators in the upcoming draft. A little bit different than Desnoyers. This is a guy that thrives in close to the net. He's really, really good at facilitating, whether he's near the crease, whether he's behind the net. It's almost like he has a sixth sense for where his teammates are going to be. And then he also has promising size. He's about 6'2", so he's not overly big. He's not up in that 6'5" to 6'7" range, but a guy with a good frame who plays physical. And again, the NHL right now, the brand of hockey, the style of hockey that's really working is, that bully style hockey that the Florida Panthers are playing. Yeah. And this is a guy that could potentially be molded into a player like that with just his physicality and frame.
Would you say that's one of the emphasis for Utah Mammoth this offseason, is add a little more of that mean streak, I guess you could say, a little more of that physicality?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at who they signed over the last month, and guys like Daniil Boot, Dmitry Simashev, they added about 6'6", an average height. So, size and physicality is what these guys are looking for. But when you kind of pull it back a little bit more, they need scoring, they need size, and they need to just be more physical. Because if you look back at a lot of the games that they played this last season, they were often out-hit by double or even more. So, yes, that is absolutely an emphasis for the Mammoth.
Okay, we're going to have you on one more week before the draft. We'll talk about free agency as well next week. That's also going to be a big emphasis for Utah Mammoth this offseason. You can read everything that Cole's got on the Utah Mammoth over at KSLSports.com. Also, watch him on the Utah Hockey Podcast on KSL Sports YouTube page as well. Thanks a lot, Cole.
Yeah, thanks.